Coming to you from the corner with the radiator, it's day 5, and it's time for a quick strike! Hello everyone, welcome back to the Dohyo for another quick strike, not a full episode, but a small, amuse-bouche, tapa-sized episode that we put in between the real blue background episodes to keep us all posted of what is going on in this amazing July Basho. So, of course, spoiler alert, we are talking through day 5 of the July 2022 Basho. If you have not watched through day 5, go, watch it, and then return to us. Alright, the big story is Ichinojo, sole leader, 5-0. Okay. We discussed some of this in the preview. I thought he was going to have a great tournament, and he is. He was coming off of a COVID layoff where it was not sure that he necessarily had any sort of symptomatic COVID or even close contact with the people who did have COVID, so perhaps he just got to rest up and have some really great sumo ready for this tournament. That match against Terunofuji was absolutely amazing. It was only the 3rd time he'd ever beaten Terunofuji. I'd have to say Ichinojo is the favorite for the rest of the tournament. We'll talk about the 4-1s in a sec, but I don't think that they are anything to be worried about right now. I just want to talk for a second about the day 4 win for Ichinojo, where we had the controversial sort of like possible hair pull. They looked at it, there was hair pull, but they think it was inadvertent contact, so there we go. It's been ruled. It's ruled upon. But I have seen very similar calls go the other way, so we could be looking at a tournament where we have Takakeisho and Ichinojo at 4-1, so remember that going forward. We have a bunch of people at 4-1. They are all Maegashira who are not in the Joy. Tobizaru, Nishikigi, Midori Fuji, and Ichi Yamamoto. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see a Tokushoryu surprise blasting out of there, especially since we have people in the Joy who look like credible Yusho threats at the moment. Ichi Yamamoto especially is sort of establishing himself as sort of a first-week wonder. I'm going to wait till he gets 9 or more wins in a tournament before I start predicting great things for Ichi Yamamoto. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it when these guys do well. Nishikigi, of course, because he's been having vision issues for his entire career. Love it when he does well. Midori Fuji, you know I love the Katsukashi and I love the smaller guys. And Tobizaru is so much fun to watch. I just don't think if any of them end up at 8-2 at the end of this week, and they get promoted very, very aggressively, any of them will hold up to any sort of Joy Sanyaku testing. Plain. So this brings us back to the recurring theme of who's driving the bus. It's supposed to be the Yokozuna and the Ozeki, none of whom are having great tournaments right now. Takakeisho and Terunofuji are at least looking adequate and ready to fight a bit. And like I said, Takakeisho could easily be 4-1 with a different interpretation of that call. But as I predicted, a lot of the action is happening with Maegashira's 1 and 2. So we have guys like Kiribayama and Kota Nowaka. Now they've already faced the Yokozuna and all of the Ozeki, and they have 3-2 records. That's so baller! But is that really the best competition they're going to be facing this tournament? I am very worried about Shodai and Mitakeyumi. I do not think I'm going to live down the Mitakeyumi Yusho pick. He has not looked good. I thought he was going to be over the ankle injury. He is clearly not at 100%. I'm just hoping he can get to the 8 to get him out of Kadoban. I'm not even sure that's going to happen. I'm hoping for almost a Shodai-esque comeback in the second week. But speaking of Shodai, he is looking really bad. He's at 1-4 again, and it seems like he's been doing this every tournament, and I just don't think he's going to have an escape route for this tournament. I would normally be a little worried about Waka Takakage. I thought he was going to get 10 wins. He still might, well, because he hasn't faced any Ozeki or any Yokozuna yet, but they're not looking that great. And I still expect at least one of the Ozeki and Yokozuna to go Kyujo, if not more. I'm not that worried about Hoshoryu and Takanosho. They both have 1-4, but they've been facing a lot of the very best wrestlers of this particular tournament. So I'm not that worried. I think they're going to fight their way back into the Kachikoshi argument in the second week. Dayamami went Kyujo and came back, but he still doesn't have any wins, so I hope he starts feeling a little bit better. Now we have a lot of interesting 3-2s still. Terunofuji, Takakeisho, Tamawashi, Abi, Daisho. The question is, now that we have this like large cluster in sort of the middle of the Joy Sanyaku where no one's really excelling except Ichinojo at the moment, can any of them start a streak to leap out and make up those 2 wins? What do you think? I'm very excited to see the rest of this tournament, as are you, I'm sure. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know all of the hot goss you guys are hearing. And I will see you next time on day 10 for another Quick Strike.